This is an Ultrasabers Empress lightsaber hilt. It's a custom saber that's inspired by the design of the Rey Skywalker lightsaber at the very end of The Rise of Skywalker. So let's take a closer look. Now, this hilt accepts a 1-inch diameter blade, which is standard for current Ultrasabers hilts. And you see at the very top, there's these sort of triangular pieces. They're very claw-like, and they extend out of the top. Now in the movie version, you have these things that kind of fold out. These are static pieces. Now there's windows in the middle below that, so we have these kind of fins. It's actually very similar to Darth Maul style lightsabers. So even I have one right here, so I'll show you. This was the Ultrasabers Dark Menace lightsaber, and look how similar that is. All right, but we've got the windows in the emitter. There's also this kind of notched section below that, sort of like a gear, and this is a separate component. I'll show you kind of what this looks like when you take it apart shortly. There's the switch hole right there. Now, Ultrasabers does offer an engraving option where there's a certain pattern they'll put in this middle kind of grip section of the hilt. I opted to get it without that. And they also offer some different finish options to different hilt colors than black. So I believe it's like gold, red, and blue are additional options. And then in the lower part of the hilt, we have kind of an echoing aesthetic of the upper part of the fins in the upper part, except they're pointed down this time. Sort of a turbine style. And then finally, here's the vented pommel, so it's got that kind of classic stadium shape to it. And so it's actually, the sound vents are on the side of the pommel rather than on the bottom. Now this hilt breaks down into quite a few components actually, so the emitter piece comes off with the little kind of pyramid type things on the top. So there's that. And then the next part, the kind of finned part, is a sleeve, as you can see. Now below that we have kind of the main body, and that's also where you'll find the retention screw. So it's a hidden retention screw on this hilt. So that kind of adds to realism, I guess. Now here's this kind of gear tooth section, and that, gotta get that off the threading a little bit, and then we can, oh, I guess that's maybe, I thought that would come off too. Maybe I could also take it off this way. But you know what, I'm gonna just kind of leave that piece there actually. I don't want to mess with it too much. So now, okay, that piece comes too. I think actually both of these pieces will come off if you needed them to for some reason. It would take a lot of time. I'm going to just put them back. So you can see there's that ring piece, and then this kind of gear type piece. But they do kind of get secured to the hilt with that threading, which is nice. Now the grip section here with the switch section, this is all kind of one piece, it looks like. And so you can see we have another sleeve for the lower part of the hilt, and that connects to the vented pommel. So both of these sleeves are very light, and they are actually different. So the lower sleeve is a little bit taller than the upper sleeve, so they're not entirely interchangeable. So yeah, let me see. Yeah, I gotta put it that way. There we go. All these pieces come apart. I gotta remember how they they go. The fins kind of point down and out. And then the opposite is the case for the ones near the emitter. So you have the wider section pointed to the middle. Sort of like a rocket ship design almost. There we go. That shouldn't be too too difficult to reattach that. Now the fins just kind of, they're not necessarily aligned with each other. Now you could use some timing shims maybe, or you could, you know, modify it so that they're lined up, but that'd be on you. But yeah, it's a pretty cool hilt overall. It doesn't have like a very oversized feel as some Ultrasabers hilts do, if you're familiar. It has a very kind of standard sizing to it. Measures about 11 inches long. It's about 1.5 inches in diameter. Kind of very comfortable kind of in the grip section. And I know it's somewhat common, people will modify this part with some kind of wrap, you know, to make it look a little bit more like the one you see on the screen. But, you know, there's different opportunities for those types of customizations and such. So yeah, this has been a look at the Ultrasabers Empress lightsaber. This is the anodized black version, which is kind of the standard version of the hilt. But they do have additional colors, and then there's also kind of some engraving available. And yeah, so this is the DIY empty hilt that you would install yourself. So feel free to comment below.